Hey guys, I'm Greg. This is Stephanie. This is our podcast, Living in Key West. We're both real estate agents here in the Florida Keys. So if you ever thought about buying or selling here, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be more than happy to help you sell your home or find your perfect dream home you've been dreaming about. Today's kind of a special one.
It is.
It's going to be about frequently asked questions we get on our live walks that we do in the morning.
Yeah.
Every morning
and
on TikTok.
I started writing a list, and I have 51, currently I have 51 questions. I didn't realize how many of the same questions we get over and over. And I know for a fact that as we're talking, I'll remember other ones and I'll jot them down. So if you see me, if you're watching the video version of this and you see me jotting them down, it's because I remembered another question. But it was actually really wild because as I was writing, I was like, holy crap. We get so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I mean, you know that, but to go through and start writing them down, I was like, maybe I'll have 25.
We'll get on average 400 to 500 questions
every morning, right?
Every morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I answer 98% of them.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are the same ones. That's why we wanted to do this episode, because while we're on the live, we don't give extended answers just because we're on the live.
Because I'm doing the live and not Stephanie.
Well, yeah, partially.
We'd get through about 15 questions if Stephanie was doing the live. She'd go into some deep detail.
Yeah, which I think is appropriate, especially on some topics. But
now when someone asks the temperature of the...
Well, I'm not going to go into detail on that, but there are some questions that beg a more detailed answer. And so we wanted to do this episode because the live in the mornings is not really the forum for that detailed answer. No, so this is...
Because there's too many questions coming across the screen. Yes. There's too much of all that.
Yes.
So usually we started a new series called Island Series that will drop on Thursdays.
Island Stories.
Yep, exactly what I said.
Yes.
And we are in the process of trying to find somewhere to record these at. We want to find a really cool location. We don't want to do it at our office anymore. So we just want to find a cool location. Yeah. So we're in the process of doing that. So while we're looking, we'll do this FAQ.
So what do you do to be able to afford to live here?
I'm glad you guys asked that question. Funny you should ask. As I say in the opening of all our podcasts, and I'll say it a couple times during our lives, we are both real estate agents here in the Florida Keys. We absolutely love it.
Yes.
We love helping buyers find that home that they're being able to purchase.
Yes.
And they've dreamt of living on the water or having a home on the water they can come to whenever they want or whatever. We absolutely love that. Helping sellers sell and move on to the next chapter in their life.
Yep.
It's just, it truly brings us joy in seeing the joy in the other people when they're purchasing that vacation home or permanent home or whatever.
And I think for me too, it brings me a lot of joy to be able to help people feel secure and safe and protected, because a real estate purchase, a home purchase, or an investment or whatever, these are some of the biggest financial transactions
down in the Keys.
Especially down in the Keys. And also in the Keys, they're more complicated in a lot of ways as well. It's a very unique market. So I think for me, it makes me very happy to know that our knowledge and our maybe leadership or stewardship is something that can help our clients feel more secure in the process, whether they're buying, whether they're selling. They know that someone is advocating for them and keeping them safe, and making sure, or as much as possible, that it's going to turn out the way that they want and need it to turn out. So and then of course, again, the joy of helping someone do something that's so joyful for them if they're buying their dream vacation home or their dream investment or whatever it is, or selling if it's time to move on, which is amazing when people are ready to close a chapter and move on to the next chapter. That's celebrated as well. So I think there's just a lot of joy in our work. And
let's not forget, we also do a lot of social media.
We do a ton of social media. Yeah.
So, which helps us out real estate wise.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
Just bringing more knowledge about the island to all of you wonderful followers. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. So that's what we do. And then another question we have is, how do other people afford to live here? This is a little bit of a complicated question.
This is a difficult one.
Yeah.
So a lot of not all of them, but some people in the tourism industry, they'll have even some real estate agents and all that.
For sure. A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people, because they want to live in, like I say, a paradise. Yeah. They'll have multiple jobs. Mm-hmm. They'll live in Stock Island and commute. They'll live in up to Big Pine and commute. I'm sure some live in Marathon and commute. Where it's a little bit more affordable to be able to make that, to be able to stay here and be in the Keys. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, I guess, you know, a lot of, we actually talked to someone the other day that bumped into us, said that he watches our lives and stuff, and he works all the time.
He's a local. He's local. Yeah.
He works all the time. And we said, well, is it worth it? And he said, yes, because he's in paradise. So he's, in his mind, him working all the time is worth it, because when he's not working, he's able to just literally go be out on the water or be here.
He's where he wants to be. And I think a lot of people underestimate, and this is not to say that there aren't a bajillion other factors, right? But I think a lot of people underestimate the impact that where you live has on like the quality of your life and like your mental health and things like that. So for him, like he was saying, he relocated from New Jersey, where it's also very expensive to live. So he thought, well, if I'm going to live somewhere expensive, I'm going to live in Key West. If I got to work all the time, I'm going to work all the time in Key West instead of working all the time to live in Jersey, you know, where he did, I guess he had grown up and it just wasn't for him. And he just like made the decision. So for him, he works 2 jobs. He works his ass off. He works all the time, but he's happy to do it. He said, and I asked him, I said, is it worth it? Because he said, I work all the time.
Yep.
But you know, where we ran into him is One Love.
One Love.
So he's on his lunch break at One Love.
Yep. And
could be on your lunch break.
Bumped into us and we had a little conversation. And
and he was so sweet, such a sweet guy, and just genuinely super happy to be living in Key West and working in Key West, and like this is the lifestyle that he wanted. So one answer is people work multiple jobs,
and the other is they don't live in Key West, they live in some of the closer islands and commute. And
I think another answer is there are families who have been here for many, many generations, and they own property on this island outright. And so they're able to live basically like rent or mortgage free.
Just have to pay that property taxes and insurance.
Sure, you're paying the property taxes, you're paying your electric bill, you're paying your insurance, you're paying it. Well, if you're insured.
Yeah, if you're insured.
If you own it outright, you don't have to carry insurance. But so that's another subset of people on the island who, you know, they live in a house that their grandparents paid off or whatever it is, which, you know, that's their situation. So I think there's a lot of answers to that. There's another answer too. There's people who work remotely and they work for a company out of DC or New Manhattan or you know, Silicon Valley or whatever, like, and these places.
And they're working remotely and they chose to live in Key West.
And they make good money because they're working for a company that's based out of Manhattan.
And if they have to be there for a meeting, they'll just hop on a plane because Key West has an international airport. So.
So that's another answer to how people afford to live here.
Okay.
Okay. Next question.
Next question.
Do we hate tourists?
I would say no.
I don't hate tourists.
I don't hate tourists. Now, to be fair, we don't go out very much late at night to Duval. You don't typically have to wait too long anywhere unless you're going to like the super touristy places, visitor-y places. So like Blue Heaven or Latitudes and stuff like that. Some you suggest you do a reservation like Louis or something, which you probably should. But, you know, we do our walks in the morning. There's not a lot of people on the streets, which is great. Traffic can get backed up a little bit. But I'll be honest, it's nowhere even close to like Gainesville's traffic. So, no, I mean, they're kind of a big part of what makes the island tick. Or as far as, you know, revenue. So, my answer would be no.
No, I don't hate tourists. I will say the one thing that I wish that I could just snap my fingers or like have a magic wand and change is I feel like a lot of people who come to the island, and I'm not saying this is exclusive to guests of the island because locals but I do feel like there are a lot of people who I see on rented bicycles or in rented golf carts or whatever, mopeds, and they are absolutely completely ignoring traffic laws.
We saw someone this morning. Literally did not stop at any stop sign and blew right through them.
Like multiple. Like just
like
not
didn't even like slow down.
Yeah.
Didn't even do a tap.
Yeah.
Tap
and
of the
that
brakes.
happens a lot. Like I said, this is not exclusive to guests.
Yeah.
But we have personally seen either accidents happening or the immediate aftermath where there's an ambulance and there's a bike literally under a car or a moped over here or a whatever. Like, oh, well, think about, we were talking about the tenant the other night. And he was wearing a helmet, someone we know who actually is a local, but he got into an accident and he said people make fun of him all the time because he rides his moped around and he wears a helmet, and people joke around because not a lot of people wear helmets here, and his head hit the curb when he got in his accident and it split his helmet. It would have been his head, and he has a broken leg, but otherwise, so wear helmets if you are
we
a
have
guest.
helmets, we wear them. I don't care, make fun of us.
No, I mean, yeah,
I'm almost 40.
Yeah,
I can handle a little laughing. If people can say I have hairy arms and I can handle that, I can handle someone laughing at me for being safe.
Yeah. So I think certainly we do not hate tourists, but I do wish that everyone, tourists included, would be more mindful of traffic laws, and also
100%. That is the more annoying, but that could also that's also locals too.
That's locals. Yeah, it's everyone. It is a problem on the island, but I would just say if you're listening to this and I'm able to impart some knowledge on you, please be hyper vigilant. If you are on this island, if you're in a car, be hyper vigilant of people who are not in cars. If you're not in a car, be hyper vigilant of cars, because, and it's always wild to me, and we've talked about this. If I'm not in a car, I am super cautious because I'm going to lose that battle every single time, even if I'm right. Even if I'm right and I'm on a bike.
Always right,
and
honey.
I'm always right. Yeah. But just be cautious.
Yeah.
Just be mindful. If you are, heed traffic laws. Everyone is supposed to follow traffic laws. So just, if there's a stop sign, stop.
Yep.
If you're at a stoplight, stop. Like, just look before you go. So yeah, we don't hate tourists at all.
Alrighty. Oh shoot. Sorry guys.
Okay, so how much is flood insurance? How much is wind insurance?
So we get asked this question frequently on the live, and it's not a simple, well, it's going to be 2,000 and 5,000. That's not the case. There's a lot that goes into it.
Well, it's just like if you were getting car insurance. If I said, how much is car insurance?
Yeah.
Well, what's your car? Company?
What company are you going with? So usually we'll say if you are serious about buying a property, once we get moving and grooving, that's when you should reach out to an insurance specialist, an agent.
Yes, an agent.
That will be able to give you way more accurate quotes than we would. We're not insurance agents. And this comes back to what Stephanie brought up about safety.
Well, we have to be careful as real estate licensees that we are not giving advice.
We are not being experts in a field that we're not experts.
Right. We are not insurance agents, so we cannot give you quotes on insurance, but we can connect you with people who can give you insurance numbers. Another insurance number that you can get, again, if you are really interested in a piece of property and we start talking and there's a property you're interested in, sometimes flood insurance can be assumable. So in that case, if you were looking at a piece of property and they had a flood insurance policy that was assumable, we could get that number, and that would be a number that, you could look at and go, oh, it's X number of dollars per year, and yes, I do want to assume that policy or something like that. But it is extremely variable based on the property, the flood zone, the coverage you want, the company that you're going with, the whatever's happening locally with regard to, insurance in Florida. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. So if you said how much is any insurance, if you said how much is car insurance, I can't give you a number because there's so many things that go into it. So anytime you ask that, one, we're being careful about not wading into professional waters that are not appropriate for us to wade into. And we're trying to, make sure that we're being really ethical and mindful of towing that line. But secondarily, we truly, even if we wanted to give you a number, we couldn't.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
We just couldn't. So, but if you are interested in a property, it is certainly a conversation. That is a topic that we will delve into, and we will uncover those numbers and help you get in touch with someone who can give you more exact numbers. So we're not being elusive. We're just making sure that we're presenting you with the most accurate information possible on the topic. All right. Can I get a house in Key West for $300,000? Or can I get a piece of real estate, a piece of property, a place to live in Key West for $300,000?
No. Simple answer.
Simple answer.
It's no.
Not currently.
There's a couple of properties that are for 40 maybe, 440,000.
Yeah.
But they've been there for a while. So
leads us to believe that
there's maybe a reason why they're still there. To give you an example,
they're meaning on the MLS. They've been on the MLS, market.
They've been on the market for a while. Yeah. To give you an example, a house popped up on the market this weekend.
Yep.
For $750,000. It was a 1-1, 500 square feet, and
it's nicely renovated. It's adorable. It's an old
beautiful.
town.
It's really cool.
Yep.
It's in a great location.
Yep.
And there's been 30, 40 calls on it. I have no doubt it's going to be going under contract.
We walked it.
We walked it.
It was absolutely swamped. We got there right when it opened. It was absolutely swamped, and our understanding was there were like 12 other scheduled showings in this like very small window. That was day 2. I mean, I imagine they're probably, I can't say for sure, obviously, but my suspicion is there's probably going to be a bidding war on that place because it's priced really nicely
for Key West,
for Old Town Key West. A single family home, cute little yard, really nicely renovated. It checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And those lower, I say that, I know how that sounds, $750,000 for 500 square feet. In Key West, $750,000 is a lower price point. In that price point, it's extremely competitive. So, yeah.
Okay. So there you go.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
The answer is but oftentimes you can find, sometimes you can find places in the Key West golf course for like sub 700. Those do pop up.
And if you don't have to be in Key West and you're willing to go north a little bit.
Yeah. Like if you're talking Cudjoe, Sugarloaf,
Big Pine,
Summerlin,
you may be able to find some
Ramrod.
Lower. You would find some lower than the Keys or Key West.
Yeah, you'll get a little more bang for your buck. Big Pine, certainly. That's one of the more affordable.
Big Pine, Stock Island.
Big Coppet, typically, is a little bit less. Yep. Okay. How much is rent?
Lovely question. I get that quite frequently.
Same vibes as how much is flood insurance?
Yeah. So what I'll typically say is, and this is just from what I see in some of the groups that I'm in and through the MLS, and usually it'll start at around $3,000 for like a 1-1 or a studio and go up from there. This is long term, by the way.
These are very rough numbers.
These are extremely rough. If you're willing to have a roommate, so I've seen a lot where they'll like roommate only, or for a roommate, and
it's like private room,
bathroom. It's like $1,800.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is plus utilities.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 3,000 and up, 1,800 and up.
Yeah. And typically, I'm really seeing, at least from what I've been seeing recently in like the Facebook groups and the places that I kind of eyeball, it's for a house 4,500, 5,000. Yeah, it's typically higher.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like you bought $1 million house renting that.
Almost. Okay.
But you're renting.
How much do homes cost?
Another great question. They range. They go from, like I said, now these are technically like condos or townhomes or whatever, but 440, and that's extremely low. Probably there's a handful that are really under $1 million, and then it goes up to $10 million.
Yeah. But the average
sale in Key West in February, I haven't looked at March's yet, but in February was $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Average sale price.
Yep.
The rest of the Keys was $1.2 million.
Yep. Can you drive golf carts on the island?
100%.
Yep. They're street legal.
They're street legal. You treat them as a car.
Yes.
So you have to park in parking spaces.
Yep.
You have to pay to park them.
Yep.
So all that fun stuff.
Yep.
You treat them like a car.
Yep.
And
now the bonus of a golf cart is if you don't want to drive a car, you don't want to rent a car, if you get a golf cart in terms of like physical like protection for your body, that versus being on a scooter, that's going to give you a little more protection.
I love the Mokes too.
And the Mokes are really cute. Yeah.
Moke people.
And If you want to rent a golf cart, a scooter, a bike, is that all that he rents? Our friend Sean, who is the manager at Blue Sky Rentals, can hook you up. So, yeah.
Huh.
Reach out to us if you want to connect with Sean if you're going to be on the island. Let's see. What's the next question? Are there jobs available?
Tons of jobs. Tons of jobs. We actually had a realtor meeting, monthly meeting thing with all the realtors, and the mayor spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And
she did the state of the city.
State of the city.
Yep.
And at the time of her speaking, which was probably now a month ago, maybe, she said there was 64 city jobs.
Just the city.
Just the city.
Like police officers, firefighters,
people working in the government, city, all that good stuff.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with bartenders, tourism, hotels, all that good stuff. So
restaurants.
Yep. I saw the aqueducts looking for someone. There's plenty of jobs. The problem is long-term affordable housing, which is what I say every morning. Yeah. You can move here and get a job.
Yeah.
If you're even remotely qualified. Yeah. The problem is you're not going to have anywhere to sleep, and that's why there's so many jobs.
Yeah.
So unless you have been saving and you're ready to, like, you can buy something, then I would 100% make sure you lock down living quarters before you move.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can take quite a long time.
Yep.
Quite a long time. I have someone who's a friend of a friend who was actually referred to us a couple months back, and she and her husband, they want to move here for a year. They both are gainfully employed, and so it's a 2-income household. And they were looking for a place. They had very, pretty generous in terms of like budget and what they were looking for, like a generous budget and not super high expectations for where they were going to live. They just needed space for them and their kids, and like didn't care what part of town, didn't care. There weren't really many stipulations other than they needed like 3 bedrooms.
It took like 2 months.
Oh yeah, and it was her looking and like you have to be on it all the time, and then me helping her, looking on the MLS, seeing if there's anything on the MLS that she wasn't seeing. I mean, it was...
She literally just signed a lease like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, and she's been looking very, very intensely for a couple of months. So I'm saying that to say, if you know you are moving here, or you have an inclination that you want to move here, or you maybe have a job offer here, or do not put off looking for a place. There are apartments here. People do ask that. That's not on my list of questions, but people do ask, are there apartments here? There are apartments here. There's one apartment complex called Ocean Walk that look pretty nice. And although they have kind of like meh reviews online, we actually had a follower on TikTok reach out to us and say, I think he's in the military, and said that him and his wife and their pups have lived there because it is dog friendly for a few years, and they've had nothing but a great experience. So, take it for what it is. We don't have any experience with that, but there are apartments here, so that's another option. And they do have, when I've looked in the past, there is availability. So that's another option as well. So yeah, don't put off looking for a place.
No.
Do not.
I'm sitting here thinking, does my phone have enough battery life to do this entire video?
Huh.
Same with my computer. I think we might be all right, but
okay, well,
I'll probably get up in a couple of minutes to double check where my battery life's at. Yeah. But next question.
Okay, we'll just keep going until we have to stop, I guess. Let's see. What do we think about cruise ships? I think the cruise ship.
Well, it's twofold.
Well, it's probably more than twofold. I think most things in life are not black and white. The vast majority of things in life are nuanced conversations, and it's important to be able to think about the nuance of something. And so I don't think it's a cut and dry issue. I think there are a lot of things to consider. The mayor did say when she was doing the state of the city that they only have, I think, between 4 and 6 cruise ships.
I thought she said a week.
Per week.
Yeah.
And it used to be up to like 21.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So they've cut it down a lot. Now, I don't know a lot about this topic, so do not take what I'm saying as like, law or anything like that. But I know that there are ecological concerns on one side. And then the other side is the people who get off the cruise ships and come into our city. spend a lot of money while they're here, and that money is very helpful for us locally. And so I know that that's like a pro. There are a lot of different opinions and there are a lot of different pieces of this. So I will say, if the question is, what do I think about cruise ships? I don't have a fully formed opinion because I don't know enough about it to be able to make, my, to be able to form a strong opinion, I guess.
Okay.
But I think, what do I think? I think it's probably complicated. And I think, like most things, there's not like just an obvious silver bullet solution. Let's see. Are there homes on other keys?
100%. 100%. And we'll help you on any of them.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, and a lot of those you can get a little bit more, I always say, a little bit more bang for your buck. They're a little bit more affordable. If you're an avid boater, well, maybe you don't want to be in Key West, but you want to be close to Key West. So go to Summerlin or something like that.
Sugarloaf.
Cujo, not Cudjo. Not Sugarloaf, because the water's a little dicey. You can do it, but it takes a lot more time to get out to open water.
Yeah.
So do that, but then you're still you're still 30 minutes away.
Well,
or you go up to Marathon and you're only an hour and 15 minutes, depending on where you're at. So,
well, we had that one house that we were looking at today that's in, I think it's Sugarloaf, right?
Yep.
And it's like a 3.5. It is absolutely adorable. It has a beautiful pool outside, a beautiful outside area. It is not on the water, so if you don't have a boat or you don't absolutely have to be on the water, but it's a beautiful home, and I feel strongly like it would be like a very nice vacation rental. Like people would absolutely love to stay there.
There's like 1-1 or something.
It's like 1-1, which, 1-1. Like
that exact house in Key West would be like 2.5.
Easy, like all day. So, and you're just up the road.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
probably your babies.
Probably, you're maybe 15 minutes from our house. So I mean, it's really
20 minutes. Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just up the Keys a little bit. So,
and a lot of people's commute to work, not in the Keys, but I'm talking about in general.
Sure. One side of Gainesville to the other is 30 minutes. I mean, bare minimum.
Good case.
Yeah. Okay. What restaurant do we recommend?
Ooh, we love food.
We do love food. So, well, first of all, download our guide to Key West.
Yep, download our guide to Key West, which is in our link tree. So download that. Stephanie put that together. It's 21 pages of pure joy. Places to stay, things to do, and places to eat. Yep. Things with kids, things with pets.
Free stuff.
Very informative, and it is currently free. So,
it is currently free, and it's not the usual stuff. It's not like, all
that being said, we like La Creperie. We like 915.
Yep, that's on Duval Street.
It's on Duval. We love One Love.
So good.
That's right there on Stock Island. I've done multiple lives from there, so you guys probably know where that's at.
All these are on the Guide to Key West, by the way.
All these are on Guide to Key West. Really good pizza down at the Seaside Cafe.
Yep.
Louie's Backyard is delicious.
Yep.
God, Kim's Cuban.
Oh my gosh, so
Step
good.
Back.
Yeah.
Taco Express.
So good.
Sin's Burritos, pretty good.
So good.
Moondogs.
Yep.
Am I missing anything? I mean, there's a lot.
Did you say...
I've heard Latte Da's really good. I've heard...
Yeah.
We haven't eaten there. It's on our Lola's. Two Friends or the Two Patios or whatever. Friends Patios or whatever it's called. The breakfast place.
Oh, the Breakfast Club too?
Nope.
Two Friends and a Patio, I think is what it's called. We haven't been there, but we've heard that's amazing. Our friend Bill said that. But we like Breakfast Club too for breakfast as well.
Harpoon Harry's has good breakfast, I thought.
Yeah, they did. So why am I blanking
Square
on...
Grouper and Cudjo is really good too.
It's fantastic. The Michael's Place. Did you say it?
I already did say that. I said Seaside Cafe.
Seaside, yeah. I don't know why I kept thinking Sunset. Yeah, Seaside Cafe. And we
I said excellent pizza and ambiance.
Oh, yes, and truffle fries.
And the truffle fries.
But to be completely fair...
Hey, the Yacht Club has good food.
I know, but everyone can't eat there.
You can't eat there.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
Forget that. I know, I was thinking that too. I was like, man, their truffle fries are legit, but you can't eat there.
Those were good. Are good.
We are gluten-free.
Yep.
So that does greatly limit both where we can eat and what we can order.
Food or something, yeah.
So, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, where's, like, the best, like, fried fish sandwich, or where are the best, like, conch fritters, or where are the best, all that stuff it has gluten in it. We can't try it, so that's why we don't weigh in on it. We do try to gather feedback from people who, you know, like followers and kind of try to share that. But like dietary restrictions and stuff, I also put that on the Guide to Key West. So, and Greg, you can put a link to the Guide to Key West in like the notes for the episode. You can also go to our link tree via our TikTok profile, and the Guide to Key West is in there as well. So there's a few different ways to navigate to it. All right.
Are you able to get up easily or no?
Yeah.
Just check on the read the next question so we're not sitting here in silence.
Where should we stay?
Where should you stay? That is an excellent question.
Good.
Okay.
I can't see battery on.
All right. Well, if it's still on, that's a good thing. Where to stay? So we haven't stayed at a ton of places in Key West, but when we were in between places, we did stay at a couple. We really like the Kimptons. The Kimpton hotels, they have 5 different locations here in Key West. And the reason why we like them is because they are probably the most animal-friendly place we've ever stayed at. Their slogan essentially is if your animal fits through the door, it can stay with you.
Yeah.
So if you have a hippopotamus and it's been on a little Weight Watchers.
Well, Fiona, when she was a baby, the hippo Fiona.
Fiona, the hippo, you guys can bring her. The giraffe, if it ducks, I guess technically it fits through.
Well, we have a mini horse who follows us.
Yeah, Lucy the mini horse.
Lucy could stay.
The magical mini horse.
Yeah, she could stay. Yeah.
So I would probably say the Kimptons.
Yes, the Kimptons have the most generous pet policy. So as animal lovers, we will always kind of talk about them first. But I will say they have 5 different, like Greg said, they have 5 different like campuses on Key West. We stayed at 2. 1 we didn't love, but in fairness, we did get the very last room on like January 1st, and like it was not necessarily comfortable, and I also don't think it was necessarily like an accurate representation of the property, so I'm not going to blast it or anything.
Yeah.
But we did stay also at Ella's Cottages, which is one of their properties, and we were in room 16, so we had like a king size bed, and we had our like a really nice like outside covered like porch deck area with like a couple little couches, and it was like this tropical like covered shaded oasis,
and all the pups were allowed.
It was a great experience. So we really liked Ella's Cottages, and if that's any indication of their other properties, if you get to like pick pick your room, then yeah, we definitely like them. But download the Guide to Key West, because we also have other places on there that again we've curated from recommendations from people who follow us or who we know who have recommended them, and then we also would like vet them and look at them like for their Google reviews and stuff. We only really like to recommend stuff that we've personally experienced, but we can't stay on all the hotels on the island. So is Key West good for kids?
I would say yes. Next question. No, I would say yes. Probably wouldn't bring them during Fantasy Fest, which is the last 10 days of October. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty kid-friendly. I mean, obviously you got your bars at night, but don't take your kids to bars at night. And or do if you want. I don't care.
Well, and we always say Key West is so much more than Duval Street.
It's way more than Duval. You got the Butterfly Conservatory, the aquarium, haunted ghost tours.
The farm,
which is right there on Stock Island under the jail. There is... there's a lot to do. There's the beaches.
Well, remember I was saying how the studios they're gonna do over the summer, or not? It's not. Is it the summer? It's like every Friday in April, maybe, or something. But they're doing this like, so if you come and stay in April, you can sign them up for this class, and it's like a meditation and art class or something. Like it's specifically for kids, and I was like, how wonderful! Like you guys could go like do this like really cool like kids. Like creative and like meditative class every Friday in April. So there's yes to your point.
How many questions have we gone through?
We're on number 20.
And you said how many did you have?
I think I had 51.
We might have to call it
After this one?
Sure. We'll do one more question.
We'll go to
I'm going to probably split this up into apparently multiple, because we're already at an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably split it up into about 30-minute segments so people can, attention span's really like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So here's the other thing to say about kids. So like we said, the Guide to Key West, I do have a kids section in there. So I have all of that stuff in there. And I guess maybe we made all the points, right? Is like Key West is not only Duval Street. It's not only, about like drinking and partying. Like there's a lot of culture. There's a lot of art. It's really what you make of it. So I think that you could have like an amazing experience with your kids here. Like the hotel that's right there on Roosevelt. Is it on Roosevelt? Yeah. Anyways, the Capitana. It's like the cutest property, and they have like a really nice pool. Like, I mean, we've seen that, so it's like top of mind for me. But like, I feel like, you could totally have like a great time with your kids there. Like, let them hang out by the pool.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot of like pull-offs on the drive.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So
yeah, absolutely.
There's plenty to do.
Well, and there's like excursions. You guys can go scuba diving. You guys or snorkeling. You guys could go
sunset cruises.
Yes, absolutely.
Sandbar fishing.
Absolutely. Like there's so much. There's so much.
So
yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys.
Wait, didn't you want to do one more question? I thought you said you wanted to do one more.
Oh, I thought that was our one more.
No.
Oh.
You want to finish now, or do you want to do one more?
What's the question?
What is Fantasy Fest?
Let's have that one be our opening.
For the next one.
For the next one.
Okay, so we went through.
Stay tuned, guys.
We'll my God, cliffhanger.
So, guys, this was part 2 of our frequently asked questions. So, once again, if you want any real estate down here or want to sell your real estate in the Florida Keys, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be more than happy to help you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please subscribe, comment, share, watch all 30 minutes. Thank you, and we'll see you for part 3, 4, and maybe even 5. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we got a lot of questions that are asked to us, guys. Thank you. See ya.
Bye.